she's been really good for me. So we started dating, like I said, God had blessed me. He'd been blessing me and blessing me and blessing me. Well, I thought everything was great. So here I am, I'm like, well, I ain't gonna worry about it. He's done blessed me. I'm doing good. Well, I stopped praying. I stopped, not completely, but stopped going to church as much as I should. In case y'all don't know, this is where you learn about God. If you ain't coming, you ain't learning. So, and I was really trying to do right, but I wound up falling one more time. I had a friend's wife, and she had called me, and asked me if I'd come talk to him, that he was making meth again, and he was really getting out there, and that I needed to have a talk with him. So I'm trying to do what I think's right, and I go talk to him. And I go back 2 or 3 more times. Well, the last time, well, not the last time, but one of the last times I go over there, he goes, I get there, and he's all panicky and stuff. And what it is he's got an active meth lab going. It's 2:15 in the afternoon, and his kids are coming home at 3 o'clock. He said, Ross, I can't have this here when my kids get here, man. I got to have help. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to help me. Well, it made me real mad at first. I told him, I said, look, I'm going to help you because I don't want to see you lose your children. But don't ever put me in this situation again. We're going to have a big problem if you do. So I sit down there with him and finish making meth. When I get done, I did some. That ain't a very good way to go to try to get somebody off of it. Sitting down there helping them make it and then doing something with them. How are you going to sit there and tell him, now you need to stop this? You better not do this no more. This is wrong. Right beside him. They ain't going to listen to that, I promise you. After I'd done that, God started dealing with me right then. And he was telling me, okay, you're slipping up. You're fixing to really be in a big bunch of mess again. Well, I wasn't listening. I was at the point that got all his blessings. I thought I was in good standings. I'm doing great. He's blessed me and all this stuff. Just one little slip up ain't no big deal. Well, I'm here to tell you that was fixing to be a real big deal for me. And I waited a couple of weeks and I go back by there. I didn't go back by there to talk to him. I went back by there to get high. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I might have told myself, well, I'm going to go back over and talk to him. But really I was saying, well, I hope he's got something there for me. I got high again. I waited a little while, and went back over there, and I got high again. And it got to where it was getting closer and closer. I was wanting to go over there more and more. Well, like I said, God blessed me with a wonderful Christian woman. And I come home from work one day, and Carlita says, I got something for you. I said, okay. And she goes over in the cabinet and she pulls out this cup. And she walks over and flops it down on that table. She says, I want you to pee in that for me. Boy, I went ballistic. I can't believe you're accusing me of doing this. You're crazy. You know what all I do, how far I could go to prison, how long? If I got caught doing this again, you think I'm stupid enough to be doing this again? I can't believe you're accusing me of it. And the whole time knowing I was wrong as could be. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Carlita says, well, that's fine. I'll tell you what. You can either pee in that cup, or you can get your stuff and you can get out of my house, because I'm not going to live like that. And then she has to leave and go get the kids. She says, it's my choice, but I needed to have my mind made up by the time she got back. Well, when she left, I was panicking. I knew I had about 30 minutes for her to go where she had to go get the kids and get back. And buddy, was I panicking. I was determined I was not going to pee in that cup. I had to convince her that I wasn't going to pee in that cup. I said, I'm just going to get my stuff and go to my mama's. I can't believe you think I'd do that. And she's like, yeah, you sure are, buddy. You going to get your stuff all right. So I called a friend of mine that lives up in Nashville and told him what was going on. And he says, well, let me ask you something. Do you love her? I said, well, yeah, I love her. He says, well, tell her the truth. I said, She gonna kick me out. I ain't telling her the truth. So I didn't tell her the truth. I wrote a little letter and just went on to my mama's. Well, I did tell her the truth. Didn't I tell you the truth? Get out. And not so nicely. So, at that time, you know, she kicked me out, and that's God waking me up again, saying, all right, look at what you're fixing to lose. You better wake up, boy. So I'm back at Mama's, and I think I come to church and told Brother Corey, I said, I got to talk to you, Brother Corey. He says, okay. So I said, well, let's go up here in your office. I wasn't going to talk to him out here in front of nobody. Didn't want nobody to hear all that. So we go up there, and he sits down on one side of the table, and I sit down on the other, and he says, well, what is it? And I said, well, I started doing meth again. When you tell that to a preacher, buddy, their eyes get big. They're kind of shocked that you sit down in their church after listening to a sermon and come in there and talk to them about that. Especially when they don't think that that's the way you're living. So Brother Corey says, well, I told him I needed all the help I can get. And he says, well, I'm going to try and help you. He says, I don't know nothing about that. I've never been involved in anything like that. So I can pray for you, and I can try and help find you a place to go. But I've never been where you've been, so that's about all the help I can give you. Is that about right, Brother Corey? So he decides that I need to go to Fruitland. They have a alcoholic addiction class at their church in Fruitland. And I go, and I get in there, and here they are. They got the Bible, you know, and they're wanting to talk about the only way to get healed from it's through God. Well, as much as I've been through, I believe that, but I thought I needed a little more. I needed something different than just somebody trying to preach it down my throat right now. So I'll come back, and I talked to Brother Corey about it, and I said, I think I just need to find something a little different. Get me some help somewhere else. So I found this place in Humboldt called Here's Hope. Here's Hope. It's an alcohol and drug addiction place in Humboldt at the time. And I start going there, and, you know, me and Carlita split up. We talk after a couple of weeks, I think, a week or so. She won't even answer my phone, you know. I'm just tore up about it. But start going to Here's Hope and tell her I'm getting in a drug program and everything. Well, she starts coming around a little bit, you know. And I go to the drug program, and I get in there, I've been there a couple of months, and then, see, I was working, so I couldn't do like a lot of them and go to what they call the 12-step program, where they give you this little sheet, and it's got all these little steps that you're supposed to do to get off drugs. People that go to rehabs are good for you, but they only got really one main point in that rehab. One of the steps in a 12-step program is to surrender to a higher power. You have to get right with God. They can't say God in the rehab because, you know, that'd be breaking the law. But you have to get right with God. So I went on to the rehab, but really I already knew what I had to do. Wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I started praying. And I probably prayed 2 months every day. Lord, you've got to take the want to from me. You've got to take the desire for me to get high from me. I'm never going to do it on my own. If you don't take it from me, I'm headed down a long road. And I know that, and I don't want to go there, and I need your help. You're the only one that can do it. He is the only one that can do it. I finally woke up one morning and God had finally taken it from me. Now I don't